Okay, hello. I would like to talk to you today about a subject that I am super passionate about. So you are going to get the Rashma hypnotherapy and wellbeing package full on this morning, this afternoon even. I normally do lives in the morning, sorry. Okay, so this is a really passionate subject for me, big topic for me. And it's all about how, if we label ourselves with either having a symptom, whether that's, mental or physical. So by physical, I mean things like, back pain, knee pain, whatever it may be. If we label ourselves or we label ourselves as suffering from something, we are never going to be in a space that we can heal. Okay. And it's really important for me to get this message out there to people, to you ladies, that, whilst it's a very natural thing to do, and is actually, can be beneficial in terms of diagnosis, it is not going to help you heal. Okay, and I'm going to explain all of that. I'm going to explain all of, everything that I'm talking about. I'm going to give you examples from my own healing so that, you can really see how it's worked for me on my journey, so that, all of this has worked for me. So this is why I talk about my experiences, so that I can get this education piece out there. So if you are in a space of, saying to yourself, I have anxiety, I am anxious, or I'm suffering with, we see it a hell of a lot out there in society. And, maybe there's a bit of conditioning about, labeling ourselves as well. But if you're doing that, know that if you genuinely want to heal and you want to move on in life, that you need to use that, okay? And move it forwards. So as I say, it's great for diagnosis and it's great to talk about things. It's great to bring it up, to notice it, to acknowledge it, but then work with that, okay, rather than labeling yourselves with it as we go through life. So my mission is to inspire women, to help women to move from this space of feeling stuck, desperate for change, for whatever reasons, into this space of having a better life, having a more fulfilling life, feeling peaceful, feeling at peace, feeling happiness, fulfillment, having true success in your business, feeling like an amazing mum, feeling like an amazing human being, having rock solid self-belief. Okay. And my vision is that, we will live in a world where women completely understand, and everybody else, but, I work with women specifically, but women will learn that actually, if you feel like you're suffering with something, then actually to grab hold of that, to use it, to grow from, to smash through it, to, move into this world of just, that life of more that you truly deserve. Okay. And it is our birthright to have this world of more. How good are you going to allow life to be for you? Are you prepared to, if you're feeling stuck, exhausted, burnt out, desperate for change, are you prepared to sit in that space now? Or do you want to, even if you're not feeling that you have any strength in you, and I completely understand that, are you in that space of, right, sod this, I'm grabbing hold of this, I'm working with this, and I'm going to use it to grow, I'm going to smash through this suffering. So my vision is women smashing through suffering, using that, the triggers, the shadow self as it's called, to really grow from, grab hold of, and work with, and smash through to this better life. Particularly, if you've experienced trauma. I work a lot with ladies that have experienced, really horribly traumatic things in their lives. If that's happened to you, know that there is that life that you truly deserve out there. You do not need to live in this world of feeling like you're almost hostage to what's happened to you. That space of just thinking, seriously, is this all my life is? You know, is this all my life is supposed to be? And all of this stuff I can completely relate to. I completely, you know, can understand, empathise where you're coming from if you're feeling like that, because that's exactly where I came from. So I only ever talk about, you know, the stuff that I personally have worked with, so I can relate to it and so I can truly help, you know, my ladies, my clients with this work. So where do we start? So my name's Anna Reshma. I'm a hypnotherapist and wellbeing coach. And as I say, I'm on a mission to help women to move out of that space of feeling like they're in survival mode in some way. So, you know, as I say, you may be feeling desperate for change, burnt out, exhausted. You may well have tried, you know, different therapies, different medications, maybe other programs, but you're in that space of almost going round the hamster wheel in life and just thinking, good God, is this all there is to it? You know, and almost thinking, you know, hoping that there is a better life out there. And you know, this is what my work is all to do with. So it's about taking you from that survival mode and working out where you need to be to get you into that thriving life that you completely deserve. Okay, so whatever thriving and that life of more means to you, you know, whether it's financial freedom, having a you know, being a millionaire within your own self-employed business, you know, or perhaps it's just feeling at peace with yourself, you know, feeling happy, feeling content, having harmonious relationships, whatever it is. I'm you know, I'm passionate about helping women to move from this space of surviving to thriving. And that's what my program is called as well. And to do that, we need to understand, you know, if we label ourselves with symptoms, if we label ourselves as suffering from anything, then we will continue that process. And I'll explain how that happens in terms of how the subconscious mind works. So the science behind it all, you know, why this causes us an issue and why it keeps us stuck. And then, you know, I'm gonna invite you actually to start to have a think about what it is that you would love, you know, to have in your life. Let me dare you to dream. Okay, what would you love to have in your life? How would you love your life to be in 3, 6, 12 months time? You know, whatever the right timeline is for you. How would that look? How would it feel? You know, what would you have overcome? Just start to think about all of that, because that is out there. Okay, that life is out there, and I've done this journey. So I've gone from that life of and obviously it's not going to be exactly the same for me as it will be for anybody else, but I've gone from that space of just feeling so desperate in life and so close to the edge to now being in this space of you know, just living the life that I love, and, you know, actually knowing that I've created that and I've made that happen for myself. So this journey is absolutely out there for you ladies as well. Any questions as we go through, obviously give me a shout. More than happy to answer any questions. Any questions on replay, by all means, give me a shout. Just give me a #replay and I will catch up on those questions as well. And of course, if you want to private message me rather than put a note in the comments, then absolutely please do. Okay, so yeah, I'm so passionate about this topic that I have called my podcast Smashing Suffering. Okay, this is how important it is to me to get this message out there. My podcast is going to be coming is going to be launched at the end of November, and it's all about, you know, actually how we can move through, smash through that suffering, those blocks that we've got, and actually smash through to the other side of, you know, living the life that we want to live. So, as I said, we're going to talk about why labelling yourself can cause an issue in the first place, in terms of, you know, how the subconscious deals with that, how it works with it. I'm going to invite you to think about, you know, the life that you truly deserve. I'm going to talk to you about my story, so my own experiences. You know, whenever I talk to any of my potential clients, you know, my soul clients that come in, I will talk about my story. I do a lot of, you know, posts about my story, because I think that's really important to illustrate, you know, where you can come from and go to. So very quickly, my healing journey was one from childhood sexual abuse to the space now where I have, you know, this life of happiness, harmony, you know, my successful business, my successful family, you know, happy family, all of that stuff that I really craved, but I wasn't entirely sure how I was ever going to get there, and actually if I ever deserved it. Okay, so I wasn't in that space of even knowing whether I truly deserved it or not. Okay, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how to start helping yourself. So when you notice, it is a very natural thing to label and to say you're suffering with things. It is a completely natural thing to do. It is how a lot of society talks. But I'm going to give you some tips of how, when you notice it, when you notice yourself doing it, how to stop it. And by that point, you'll know why that's so important as well. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about my program, my Surviving to Thriving 4-month mastermind program, open to ladies for enrollment now. And then, so I'm going to talk about my program and then just give you a quick insight into one of my amazing VIP clients that is working with me at the moment, and the transition for her in just 3 months. And she is absolutely incredible. Okay, so let's talk suffering. Okay, we hear, and I see it, I hear it a lot. I see it on, you know, particularly Facebook. I suffer with anxiety. I have also, just this morning, heard it at the school gates about a child as well. Okay. So, well, previously as well, I've heard, you know, bearing in mind that the children at my son's school are all, you know, 11 and under, talking about having anxiety or having anger issues or whatever. Okay, so it's your subconscious is so powerful that if it grabs hold of that labeling of these words, it is absolutely going to run with it, and it's gonna use it and recreate more of that. So what happens? So we talk to ourselves, we talk about ourselves as having anxiety or suffering with whatever it may be. So, you know, this could be, I'm using anxiety as an example, but it could be insomnia, anxiety, depression, you know, being really fearful, hypervigilant, scared of, whatever it may be. And we hear it a lot, but the problem is that the subconscious is such a powerful machine, and it runs automatically. So the subconscious mind makes up the majority of our mind. So our mind is made up of 2 distinct parts. It's all one entity, but it's 2 distinct parts. So we've got the conscious part of the mind and the subconscious. Now, the subconscious, because it deals with so much information that's coming into our world, you know, in through our senses, it runs like an automatic machine. So if we tell ourselves something, it is going to just, because there's no logic, there's no rationale to it. That's the conscious mind, okay? And you know, the subconscious can't have any logic, any rationale to it. It needs to run as an automatic machine because it needs to process an awful lot of information that's coming in to us. You know, the conscious mind can only deal with 6 to 7 bits of information at any one time, whereas the subconscious will deal with, you know, our senses are hit with millions of bits of information every second. So our subconscious is dealing with all the rest of that. Okay, so just as a very quick example, unless there's something actually wrong with it, or you've got pain in it or something, you're probably not thinking about the temperature in your left foot until I've just talked about it then and brought it into your conscious mind. Okay, so that's the subconscious running it in the background, checking that, you know, your foot's okay, you're not in pain, the temperature's okay. It's just automatically running all that information for you. And, you know, it's not making you aware of that, okay? So it's a machine, it's a super powerful machine. And the thing with the subconscious is, and this is why affirmations and visualizations work so well with it, and using imagination works so well with it, as soon as you tell it something and also repeat telling it something, it's going to grab hold of it, okay? And it's going to, whatever your subconscious is focused on, is going to keep recreating that experience for you. So if you say, you know, regularly, I have anxiety, I suffer with anxiety, it's like setting the sat-nav within the subconscious mind to go, there we go, there's your destination, you know, continue to that point, or continue down that road to that point, okay? So if we're saying, I suffer with, we are telling ourselves that this is the way that we want to be. We're telling ourselves subconsciously that this is what we want to focus on, okay? Now, there will genuinely be people out there who will probably have switched off by now, that are okay with being in this space. You know, it will work for them in some way, being in this space of having anxiety, as an example, you know, whatever the symptom is, this relates to anything. And there will be a genuine reason for those people as to why it works on some level. And again, that will be led by the subconscious as well. So, you know, some people, and I have one in my very immediate family, some people don't want to work, subconsciously probably don't want to work with whatever's coming up for them, whatever symptoms are coming up for them. And this will be because the subconscious doesn't think that they're worthy to kind of, generally, worthy to get past this, and they don't deserve a better life. Again, you know, that can be worked on as well. So that's almost a form of self-sabotage, okay? That can be worked on as well, of course, but, you know, people have to genuinely want to do it on some level. So I can pretty much guarantee anybody watching this video and having got, you know, almost 20 minutes in, you are not going to be in that space of being okay with feeling how you're feeling. You are in a space of, no matter, you know, how broken you feel at the moment, let me tell you, you have some serious, you know, strength and power in you to want to change this stuff. And because you have that dedication, you are that determined and committed to it, you absolutely can do it, okay? We are all so powerful within our own right to be able to create change in our own world. But we have to want to do it. It has to be a choice, okay? So we can use the symptoms that come up for us, or if we're really being triggered in life by something, you know, if something's really making us angry, if we're really fired up by something. So this is a real topic for me that I get really passionate about, okay? But if you're finding that you're being triggered by something, or you're noticing symptoms, absolutely, it's almost like we're being shown the key, okay? It's almost like we're being shown how to create a better life. So it's about grabbing hold of these things and actually working with them. So sure, you know, diagnose them, label them for that, but then grab hold of them and work with them. You know, this shadow side, these symptoms, our triggers, are actually where, you know, our subconscious mind and our conscious are not aligned. So subconsciously, automatically, we're behaving in a way, thinking, feeling, doing something in a way that we don't consciously want to do. So where you see that, where you feel that misalignment in symptoms, in triggers, grab hold of it, okay, and talk to me about it, because these are absolutely, it's giving us our key to creating our really true, authentic, powerful selves. Okay. So I've talked about the subconscious, and we can't heal if we're labeling ourselves. So there's a couple of big things. I'll talk a little bit about my story in a moment, but a couple of things that I used to really focus on was insomnia and lack of energy. And both of those things, because they affected my life so much, I was naturally focusing on them. But what I wasn't understanding at the time, because I didn't understand how my subconscious worked and how blinking powerful it is, I didn't realise that, with focusing on it, I was driving myself down that path even more. Okay. So it is all of our birthright to be able to create the life that we love. Okay. If we have symptoms that we weren't born with, then we have learnt those at some point during our lives. Okay. And that's not your fault. We will have a lot of life experiences coming to us, coming into our worlds. So we will have a lot of life experiences that we will learn something from. The subconscious will pick up things from these life experiences. It stores every single life experience for us, every memory for us. But it also wants to keep us safe. So if we've experienced something, that has felt stressful, traumatic, lightning has struck in some way, then the subconscious is going to grab hold of that and keep, recreating that as an automatic program to keep us safe, but it can potentially create issues for us in our current day. Okay, so particularly stuff that we may experience in childhood, particularly if it's traumatic as well, it's going to keep recreating that within our lives for us, but because we've learnt it during our lives, we can absolutely unlearn it. Okay, we can. It's almost effectively, hypnotherapy is almost effectively dehypnotizing ourselves from the crap that we've picked up as we've gone through life, that other people may have said to us, other people may have criticized us, other people may have treated us badly, we may have been hurt, we may have been abused. All of this stuff, we can, if you have the will, the determination, the commitment to do it, then hello, I think that's Hillary. Hi, Hillary. Then, we can absolutely move into that space. We can create a life that we love and we deserve to live. And there is no downside to choosing this path. Okay, trust me. Okay, so I went through decades, like 20 something years of being in this space, because I didn't really know what was out there and what could help me, which again is why I do this education piece so much about hypnotherapy, because it is just so amazingly transformational for me. But I went through sort of 20 years just feeling stuck, feeling broken, and it got worse, over the years. Sort of, it just kind of compounded itself over the years. But within, as soon as I found hypnotherapy, literally within, from the first treatment, I could feel that things had started to shift. Okay, so going through growth, committing yourself to helping yourself, and working through these pain points, it's not necessarily comfortable. But think about it this way, I had to dig up, a lot of stuff, work through a lot of stuff. But oh my God, am I grateful that, I'm in the space I am, that I've done that work. as opposed to still sitting in that space of feeling so broken. I'm not entirely sure I would still be here, and I absolutely know I would have been the worst mother in the world to my little boy. So you know, I'm so grateful on so many levels that actually, you know, I started going down this route. So I completely understand that, you know, it can feel a bit potentially a bit sort of overwhelming, but you will also get to that space, you know, if you're meant to work on yourself, on these things, and help yourself grow, you will get to that space where it's like, right, fuck this, I'm doing it, you know, I deserve more than this, basically. So there is no downside. So just imagine now for a second, you know, just think about the thing that troubles you the most. So whatever that may be, you know, fatigue, exhaustion, insomnia, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be. There could be all sorts of things, you know, numbing with food, disordered eating, numbing with booze, you know, whatever it may be for you. Just imagine now that you turned that around, you know, how different would your world be in, you know, 3, 6, 12 months? How different could your life be? And, you know, how amazing, how proud of yourself would you feel if you knew full well that you'd made that happen? Yeah. That's what I want people to really start, or ladies that come to talk to me, really start to think about. Hi, Vanessa. You know, as you start to imagine this world that you want, breaking free, smashing through this suffering, this pain, these things that are holding you back, these limiting beliefs, you know, this trauma that you may have experienced, whatever it is for you, you know, that world it does not need to be for you. Okay, so just start to really think about how wonderful life could be if you know, decided that enough was enough. You grab hold of this and actually, you know, work with it to actually come out the other side, get that life that you love, create that life that you love. And we're all very good at running this story, and I absolutely have been here of, you know, there's something wrong with me, I'm broken, I can't do this, whatever it may be. Absolutely been there, completely understand that. There isn't. Okay, this is you, this is all of you, this is in your life now because you're meant to, because if you want to, you're meant to grow from it. Okay, so this has come to you, it's happening for you as opposed to you, if that makes sense. So, you know, it has come. If people want to, you know, sit with it, then that's absolutely, you know, that's absolutely their call. There's no, you know, there's no criticism with that at all. But if you want to grow, you know, this accept that this is happening for you to be able to grab hold of it and be able to grow from it. Okay, so, you know, everything starts with a thought. So my point around, you know, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, that's a story that we're telling ourselves. If we can embrace all of that as being all of us, so, you know, the good side as well as the bad side, that's probably the wrong choice of words, but, you know, the dark side as well as the light side, all of the thing, you know, the yeah, I was going to say good and bad again, but those things that we like about ourselves and those things that we don't, you know, all of that is all of us. And if we can embrace all of it and work with all of it, then we are going to create our truly authentic, powerful selves. Okay. So everything starts with a thought. You know, our thoughts and our emotions will actually create, you know, chemical changes for us in our body. So whilst we're busy telling ourselves, you know, and focusing on the negatives, imagine what that's going to be doing to our bodies, our, you know, our minds, to everything that is, to all the things that we're attracting into life as well. Imagine what that's doing when we're sending out, you know, this negative thought, this negative energy. So then think about how damn powerful it can be actually if we flip that, if we work with it and we flip it, you know, and we can then move into a space of, you know, creating great thoughts, great change for ourselves, and actually then amazing difference in our bodies, in our energy, in what we're attracting into our lives as well, because our subconscious will be focusing on the better stuff for us as well, because we've made that change. Okay, so this is all about whether you decide basically to take control of the subconscious and make that work for you, or whether you're going to allow it to carry on working against you. So remember, the subconscious has no logic, no rationale to it. It communicates specifically via emotions to us, and it hasn't got anything against us, but it is just there to protect us. So whatever it learns, it will, keep recreating that to protect us. But it does get it wrong, because there's no logic, no rationale to it. So are you in a space where you're going to grab hold of that and work with it and you control the machine? Or are you in a space where you're going to let it run and let it run, the show for you? Okay. So let's just do a sense check. I haven't got anybody on live at the moment, I don't think, but just have a think now when you're watching this later. Just have a think about how you're feeling about all of this now. Hopefully you're in the space of, hell yes, I want to work with it now, and what I will say is that I always hoped that there was kind of an answer to help me with the things that I was struggling with way back. But I wasn't entirely sure that, there was an answer. So this is why, it's really important for me to talk about this stuff as well, to you ladies, to anybody. But, allowing you to understand that actually this specific help is out there, particularly if you have tried, other therapies, you've tried medication, you've tried other things and they haven't worked. Okay, so just very quickly then, my story with sort of relating to labels and suffering. So 14 years ago, I was in a space of everything had just got too much. I was way too close to the edge for my own liking. I was feeling broken, desperate, exhausted, super angry that I couldn't create the life that I could see other people having, or I could perceive other people having, of this like happy, harmonious life, but just feeling so stuck, so sad. And if I'm honest, blaming other people for being in that space as well, because I didn't know any better really. And, a lot of my world then focused on the fact that I couldn't sleep. And there were a lot of things that I was doing, again, not really understanding the ins and outs of it, because I didn't really understand how my mind works, all the things that I understand now. So I was drinking way too much to, dampen emotions to help me sleep, because ironically that kind of worked on some level, but also obviously it didn't, because you're never going to get that quality of sleep. But I was very focused on the insomnia, and actually what the issue was for me that I didn't really realise was that I was traumatised. So I went to finally, after long years and years of looking and just carrying on trying to find the answer for myself, which thankfully I did. But I went to a hypnotherapist and said, please, you have to help me sleep, because I cannot, I feel like I'm going mad. And actually what that all came back to was that I was actually traumatised from childhood sexual abuse. So it had gone on for 2 decades, so over 2 decades by this point, and just got worse. So my label was that I was an insomniac, and I was really focused on, not being able to sleep. So therefore, I was making that situation worse for myself, because I was going to bed thinking subconsciously, you don't sleep, so don't sleep. You know, and this is where it's actually, you know, so detrimental to us if we don't understand the power of the mind. So what I needed to do was actually heal all those blocks, those limiting beliefs from trauma, and almost because a lot of my insomnia was linked to fear and not being safe, not feeling safe because of the abuse, and also because I'd experienced that, you know, as a child, so young, then, you know, it was so obvious why I couldn't sleep, because I never felt safe. So your subconscious can't rest. You know, it's that you can't ever switch off because you're in that hypervigilant mode. Okay, so as soon as I started with hypnotherapy, working on that fear, the world wasn't a safe place, you know, all of those limiting beliefs, my sleep started to improve, honestly, from, you know, literally the first few sessions, and it was quite incredible. But up until that point, as I say, I'd been focused on the insomnia, so therefore I was just bringing more and more of it into my life. So hypnotherapy was so, I mean, that's just specific to this particular label, but this particular topic. But, you know, it was so incredibly transformational for me as a therapy, and has absolutely moved me in to this space of, you know, as I say, just feeling so content with life, and, you know, really happy in myself, what I'm doing, you know, in my family, being open to receiving love. That's something that I really struggled with. Feeling loved, that it's safe to be loved, you know, all of these wonderful things, from that space of feeling really broken. So this is what my program is all about. Okay, I've written a program called Surviving to Thriving, which is a 4-month program. There's an extra month free at the moment. So if you enroll at the moment, you've got 5 months on the program, and it encompasses everything that I have learned on my journey. So my journey of 14 years, basically condensed into a 5 month at the moment program for you guys to just pick up and run with. Okay, as you work up, there are various levels within the program, and the VIP, which is the top level, that's where, you know, you will work most on a bespoke on a one-to-one basis with me. All of this is put together from my own learnings, my own experience, but of course it will be bespoke to you as well. So it's not a generic course, you know, that's just going to teach you generic things. It is going to work specifically for you based on you know, what your needs are. So by all means, click and book a discovery call with me. It's a free 45-minute call where we can talk about, you know, where you are, where you want to be, and actually how we put those jigsaw pieces together to get you to that space. So it's the program that I wish had been available for me to just pick up and run with, rather than kind of doing a bit of this, a bit of that, bringing it all together over the years, and it taking a lot longer. Okay, and one of my VIP ladies, just as an example, you know, within three of the 5 months, you know, wrote me a testimonial recently, which will be on my page, but wrote me a testimonial saying, you know, can't believe how much has shifted, and I'm now in this space, only 3 months in, now in this space of, you know, loving my life and feeling loved, and, you know, that all of it just, you know, shifting so much for her. And she's incredible, you know, she's been through a hell of a lot in her life, and she's created that change for herself, you know, from this program. So it's you know, hypnotherapy is just so powerful. So by all means, give me a shout, and we'll have a chat through the program and what it can do for you. And also, you know, just check that I'm the right person for you to work with as well, because that's really key. Okay, you have to have good rapport with your hypnotherapist, your chosen therapist. So just quickly finishing up on tips as to how you can help yourself with labeling. So we've discussed actually how, you know, detrimental it can be, because your subconscious is going to focus on these labels. It's going to focus on I'm suffering with, and it's going to recreate more of that for you. Okay, so what can you do to help yourself with this? So firstly, notice what you're saying to yourself every day, and notice how much you're saying it. So just notice what your thoughts are, whatever it may be. You know, you can also do this with sort of negative self-talk as well, but whatever it may be, you know, oh, I feel exhausted, or oh God, I feel really anxious, I need to get rid of it. You know, that need to get rid of, that's not where we want to go either, okay? This is not about managing coping with symptoms. This is about, you know, getting to the root cause of it and working them out so it can be resolved. What we will tend to do, we need to acknowledge that the thought is there, to be able to like really work with it to resolve it, okay? So think about what you're saying, and you might even like to write it down. You know, think about what you're saying to yourself during the day about your labels, about suffering, and then also note down how much you're doing it. So I did this exercise years and years ago about negative self-talk. I was absolutely blown away by the amount that I was giving myself negative chat every single day, you know, literally within a couple of hours. It was like, dear God, I didn't realise I was doing this much. So just notice what you're saying and notice how much you're saying it. If you're writing it down, screw it up, burn it. We don't want that, you know, we don't want that crap to continue. But just notice what you're saying, notice how much you're saying it. And then when you have noticed yourself saying those thoughts, just kind of to yourself, just acknowledge them, you know, thank them for being there, because actually they're showing you how you can grow. These thoughts are showing you how you can grow, how you can, you know, smash through them basically. But then think about how you can rephrase them. So, for example, if you have a recurring thought of, oh my God, I feel anxious, then think about what thought would work for you in terms of, you know, okay, so thank the thought, acknowledge it, but what's actually happening in this moment? You know, check in with what's happening in that moment, and then just say something to yourself once you've done that and, you know, had to think about what's actually happening, brought yourself back to the present. Then have a think about what you can say to yourself, like, you know, and this will have to be whatever works best for you, but it's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I can deal with this, I can work with this, or, you know, it's okay, I can be calm, I can have calm in my life. Whatever these words are right for you. And even if they feel a bit far-fetched to start with, that's okay. You know, the key is to catch the thought, acknowledge it, thank it, and then give it something else, so that it's not running just with that thought, just with that label, just with that I am suffering. And then what you can do is obviously look to start working with the root cause of that issue. So we will have learned somewhere along our lives to think, feel, or do these things. Okay. So hypnotherapy, working with me, will allow you to identify where the root cause of that comes from. So the root cause will sit within our subconscious, and we can go in. Hypnotherapy is so powerful at identifying where the root cause is. Okay, and then we grab hold of that and we work with it, and we can get rid. We can significantly ease it. We can, do whatever is right for each individual and, each root cause. It's going to be different for everybody, but, your mind is going to know exactly where that started and take you to that point. So it's super, super powerful. Okay. So that was a long live. So thank you for people that have listened, and do let me know if you are catching this on the replay, of course. But hopefully now you'll have a good kind of sense of why not to label, why not to talk about suffering, you know, how the subconscious mind works with that, and actually why that's then so detrimental for us. But actually, this isn't about suppressing anything. This is about grabbing hold of it, using it and growing from it. Okay, so creating that wonderful life that you truly deserve, instead of sitting in this space of thinking, this is it, I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life. Okay, it's utter bollocks. Okay, you don't have to. Okay, so if you are in that space or curious, or you want to challenge me with any of this, then by all means do, you know, drop me a line, book a call with me, you know, we can have a chat about what's happening for you, and then we can take it from there. So I will wish you a lovely Monday. What is the time now? 1:15, yeah. So enjoy your lunches if that's the next thing that you are up to, and I will speak to you again soon. All right, take care. Lots of love, ladies. Bye.